don't even know how to introduce myself.
I'm introducing. All right, here we go. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Digital Media Sync. Today, I am joined by Chris Tonsky of Fusion Software, and we are going to talk about ranking in Google, which I'm totally not an expert in the way that Chris is. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we'll kind of jump in. What do you think?
Awesome. Thanks, Julia. Thank you for having me as a special guest on Digital Media Sync. You said that I'm Fusion Software.
Oops, sorry, Fusion Design.
Okay. Fusion Design. Yep, so I started off designing websites about, 15-ish years ago. And I have had my business, my LLC, for 11 years now. Fusion Design, and I provide web design, development, and SEO services. I strictly wanted to focus on design, the fun stuff, the pretty pictures. But as a website designer, I am also responsible for helping my clients get found in Google, which is very important because if you have a website and it's not found, what is it good for?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if you want to
pop that up on.
Let me share my screen now and go through some stuff. Okay. So here we are in Google, and I am just going to throw some search terms in the search bar above. You can use either search bar, but I am going to search for one of my clients who sells custom lawn and leaf bags. So, custom leaf bag. You see the first result that's not an ad, because you would see ad, the little word ad, is danoinc.com. And that is my client that I created this website for. And they sell lawn and leaf bags. They customize them with company logos. So that is very big for this client to be the #1 search result in Google. They also rank #1 for craft compactor bags. They make paper trash compactor bags. So it's kind of a niche product, but they rank right with the Amazons, Lowe's, Home Depots as #1 for these certain search terms.
Yeah, and that's like a big thing, right? Because you're always up against, all these mom and pop, small businesses. They're always up against larger organizations that are throwing a lot of products up and have a lot of money behind them. So being able to rank with them, and rank higher is a really big thing, and it's always a struggle, I guess.
Yes, I mean, it's kind of a miracle here that paper compactor bags, and you have the Amazon, Walmart, Sears, and then my little guy Dano down here.
Mm-hmm.
So that took a few years. SEO doesn't happen overnight. You have to be diligent, and you just have to keep working at it and keep putting in the time and effort, and it will happen. Another search term, if I put in hair salon New Haven, these are your local Google map results, which I could get into in depth at another time. And then you usually have your big directory sites show up, or review sites like Yelp, and then you get your small businesses. And my client here is ranking #2 of the first listing of small businesses. So I have a little bit of more work to do to get Capture Salon to be #1. Mm-hmm. But even in that slot, it's pretty good traffic.
Right. And what I always hear too is you definitely want to have page 1, because people usually don't go much beyond that.
Yeah. Some go to, you're looking at about a 50%, 50 to 60% click rate on these top guys here.
Yeah.
And it trails off. And by the time you get to page 3, it's slim to none.
Right. And it's often lost amongst a lot of topics that don't have anything to do with the original request.
Right.
Or search.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's when you want to be strategic about the keywords you're ranking for, because you can't just get found for the wrong thing. Another search, let's do bookkeeper, Milford, Connecticut. And this is my client, Business First LLC, showing up first in the local map results. And, well, I'll say first under the big directory site of Indeed for jobs is Business First, a personal bookkeeping business. Let's do, this is a big one for me, web designer, New Haven. I am number 1 in the local map results. And if you go beyond the 3 directory websites that just aggregate different companies,
right,
I am the first single owned business. So I get a lot of traffic from that keyword.
Yeah.
Web designer, go ahead.
You know, you're also in the map section as well, which is also key. I know that in previous digital media things we had talked about making sure that you have your Google business profile filled out like as much as you possibly can, including having, you know, every section filled out so that you pop up there, because a lot of times people are also looking on their mobile device as well, and so the map section often comes up first.
Yes, and you will see
a physical location.
Exactly, but you know, you don't have to have a physical location to show up there.
Correct. Yeah.
And nowadays, a lot of people aren't, and you know, you don't really want to put your home address, but you could put a range, an area of where you work. Now, web designer CT is a little harder to rank for. It's a much broader search term, but I am ranking number 2 there, and I am faltering in those organic results there. So I have some work to do to get myself found for a Connecticut web designer.
Right.
So that's where the strategy comes in. So let's talk about how I do that, how I got myself to be number 1, even if I put web developer, New Haven. And I like to really service local, the local community, the local business community. So I like to focus in and around New Haven. I'm number 1 for web developer there.
Right. Okay.
So let's just talk about some of the things that I did to get those sites to rank high in Google. First, we want to make sure your site can be crawled. Is it in the Google directory? How do we know? Well, you could put the operator, the word site, before your website name, and then the website name, and if you show up, you're in Google. So if I was to put site fusionprintdesign.com/banana, it'll come up with no results. So that's when you know your site is not in Google. And then what do? Well, you need to submit it. And that's why Google is saying, try Google Search Console. So that's when you would sign up for an account with Google Search Console and go through all the steps of telling Google that, hey, I have a website. These are the pages. Please index me, and do it quickly. So that's a process unto itself, and that's always done when I create a website initially. The second thing or could be the first, you want to really talk about your SEO strategy and your business goals. Why do you want to be found? For what words do you want to be found? Like you said earlier, you can be found for just terms that don't make sense.
Right. And are not going to help your business. And this is, I just have to stop you for 1 second, because this is definitely something that is across every single thing that we talk about from a tactical standpoint or a strategic standpoint. Is overall, it's like, what are your goals? So every single digital media thing, it's like, what are your business goals? What are you trying to do? Obviously you're trying to, you have a business, you're trying to make money with a product or service, but really think about, what your goal is and then how you get to that. But yeah.
Do you want to
reminder?
Yeah. So, first and foremost, most businesses want to increase their brand awareness on the internet, but some don't. If there are some people that would not want to be found in Google, like a private membership site, or that's a good example. But those are far and few between. Most people and clients need to be found in Google, want to be found in Google, and some businesses, like myself, depend on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So business goals. Why do you want to be found? For what reasons? What do you want the user to do when they do find you? I'm clicking right here. Compelling content. So content is queen, as we know. The more engaging content and unique content you have about your product or service will prove to the user that you're an authority on your subject matter, and you're not just copying it from some other website, and it's substantial. It's not thin. I've had some people say, I have too much content on my website. Well, does it distract the user? If not, then bury it so it could still be found with Google search terms. But don't strip away your content because you think people think it's too much. Just arrange it in a way so it's not going to overwhelm the user, but still relevant.
And I think more and more now, compelling content, because the search structure is continually learning and continually growing and expanding, that having that content and being known as relevant as an expert is becoming more and more important. Like, I don't know what the ratio is, but I've been definitely reading in articles that, the actual content, the more that people click as well, because they keep going to you as a resource, or the more people and the more often those visitors visit your website, that means that you're definitely a compelling resource.
Right. So that's your click-through rate and your page time, how long they're staying on. If they find you in a search result for web designer and they click to you and they say this is junk and they click right back to Google, that's going to work against you. It's called pogo sticking. And we don't want anyone pogo sticking off our site back to the search results. So if you're keeping that high rank, you probably have unique, compelling content that is keeping the user engaged. So that comes to the question, are videos good for SEO? Well, that brought that question to my head. Are videos good for SEO? And the answer is yes, because they're engaging more. They're more engaging content than reading text. So it'll keep the user, if you have a good video, it'll keep the user on your page longer, which is your rank for that reason.
So that's really interesting too, because that goes back to, why you look at your Google Analytics. And a few weeks back, I know you and I had this conversation right here on Digital Media Sync, where we were talking about what do you look at in the analytics, and not only do you look at how many users there are, how many unique visitors, but also how many returning visitors and how long are they staying on your page. So if they're staying for 3 to 5 minutes, you know, they're either reading or watching a video. So
Right.
yeah, it all ties in. We're tying it together.
I love that you are more of the analytical side, because I like to just bring the traffic and have you, you know, figure it out. This is a big one, keyword optimization. So we want to get in the head of our customers pretty much and think about what they're searching for. What do they need? Answer those questions and anticipate other questions that they're going to ask and answer those questions as well. So they don't just get that one question answered. You go on to keep them engaged and answer more questions. So how do we come up with the keywords to find us? Well, we can use our own intuition. I kind of know what I would look for when I would look for a certain service, like a plumber or an electrician. I would usually put that name and the local district that I'm searching in. But there are other tools to find out which keywords are ranking highly and what are you going to get a bigger return on. Some of those tools are Google AdWords. And you don't have to pay for AdWords. You just have to sign up for an account. And within AdWords, there is a keyword research tool. So you just plug in Web Designer New Haven, and it'll give you a list of the other keywords that are relevant that people are searching for. So in my search, my Google box here, see how I just put the start of Web Designer New Haven, and it gives me, oh, that's my history. It starts giving me similar terms to that term. So I can also use this Google search term box. And once I search for a term in Google, I can also go down to the bottom on some SERP pages, and there usually is a listing of similar search terms.
Right. Okay.
Another keyword planning tool would be some of those paid services, SEMrush, Moz.com, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah, those are my favorite for sure.
Ahrefs. And there's also a free website that I like to use. It's called smallseotools.com. If you scroll down a bit, there'll be some keyword tools here. Keyword position, density checker, that's to check your own site or a competitor site. Keyword suggestion tool, keyword research tool. So I use these as well as AdWords and my own experience of what people are searching for.
Wow, I'm going to try that out too. Small SEO tools.
Yep.
And it looks nice and simple. Has the little icons, and then you just click on something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So once you do have those keywords identified, that's when you generate the content surrounding those keywords or using those keywords within context that makes sense, and not repeating those keywords over and over again, because that is considered keyword stuffing, and Google will actually get mad at you for doing that and penalize you, and your ranking will drop.
Rank you lower. Yeah.
So make it make sense to the user and use those keywords in key positions, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Another important part of SEO is good user experience and good user interface. And that means, is it pleasing to look at? Is the information in a way where they can find it? Are your pages linking to each other, not just in the menu? Can you read a paragraph and then see a page link that goes to another page that might give you more information, and just carry the user around in a nice experience that makes sense to them? Very important for SEO. is your content share worthy? That comes back to compelling and engaging and unique content. That's what you want people to do ultimately, is amplify your content.
Right.
And
yeah.
so when you write a new blog post and you send it out, you push it out in an email campaign, you push it out in social media campaigns, you hope to ultimately create a circle of people sharing your content and linking back to your site ultimately. Very important, backlinks. And we'll get to those in a minute. Backlinks. Very important factor in SEO. That's telling Google, hey, am I going to pull up this web designer if they have nobody linking to them, or am I going to pull up someone that has 1,200 other websites linking to them?
Right.
So the more domain authority that those domains have that link to you, the higher you're going to rank. So to get your site linked to from New York Times, so would be golden, but to start smaller, you could start contacting directory sites, publishing guest post articles with a link back to your website, asking the website owners to publish them in their site. Make sure these backlinks are credible and not crappy. You can buy these. Don't ever buy links. Make it be a legitimate tool and a reason for someone to link to your site. Some other ways to, if you don't have anyone linking to your site, you can do a Google search for your company name. And then see if your company name is listed in other blog posts or articles on the web and they're not linking to your site. So you can just say, hey, you're mentioning She's So Social or branding, but you're not linking. Could you please just add this link? And they most likely will.
That's a good thing to remember.
Yep.
And I think some of the things that you're talking about, and checking for your website, just like checking Google Analytics and that sort of thing. I don't know how often people are really, checking these other items, like how they're ranking. A lot of times businesses will have that with their resources that they're using, their designer, that sort of thing, especially if they're keeping them on, on a monthly retainer or that sort of thing. And I know that that's something that, you're very cognizant of as well. But just remembering this is super, super helpful, because a lot of times people don't know where they rank on SEO and don't understand why they're not getting, business or the amount of business that they really want to have.
Yep. And that at smallseotools.com. If I go back there, that has a lot of information that you could start looking at those aspects. If you, there's there's some Backlink Checker right here.
Right.
So you can see how many sites link to you. And I was surprised, but I have 1,200 pages that link back to me.
Wow.
And,
oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. That's
wonderful. No, but it's like if I put my name in the footer, site designed by Fusion Design, if that site has 300 pages, I get marked it down for 300 backlinks.
I see. Okay.
So that's kind of a unique advantage that I have as a web designer, is they allow me to put a link to my site very small at the bottom.
Right.
But I also have some other professional organizations, Chamber of Commerce, that I've joined, that they have a business directory and a listing, and I link back to their site from there, my site.
That's also interesting too, if there's anybody out there that has or is part of a networking community, how important it is for that networking community to make sure that they provide these type of resources to the businesses that they're servicing and that are their constituents. So chambers, networking organizations of any type, any
resource
type
sites, groups, even
any
in,
sort of groups.
even an event, just one event. If you need to submit your bio to that page on that website talking about the speakers, there's a backlink.
Yeah.
All right, so
that was kind of listen up, you organizations out there.
Yeah, tell your people.
Treat your business constituents right.
Exactly. Okay, this is a big one, metadata and URLs. So, but it's not as big as unique, compelling, and engaging content.
Right.
Google is
yeah, the
getting
actual
smaller.
content is starting to really get more recognition on Google.
Yep. Google's AI is just becoming smarter and smarter. So if you just, optimize your keywords in the certain positions, it's going to do some help, but it's not the whole, it's not everything. So what I'm going to do is I'll go back to my website. And so I have here metadata and URLs. Metadata, well, let's go to Google again and Web Designer New Haven. When you pull up a search page of search results in Google, you'll see that we have a blue link and some descriptive text underneath. Well,
Right.
and once it's visited, it turns purple. This link up top is metadata coming from your website. It's not actually in the design forward facing to the user. It is it's in the top tab of your browser URL bar, your browser top bar, and it's in your page source. So page titles are very important, and they should be unique for each page. And they should talk exactly about what that page is about. So you see I have some keywords big time in my page title: web design, CT, graphic designer, New Haven, CT. And then this little descriptive text is coming from another piece of metadata called the description. Your description does not help SEO rank factors directly, but what it does do is entice the user to click to your site. So the better your description that talks about your page, the better your click-through rate will be. But this keyword, these title tags, they do directly affect your SEO. So if you could see that if I go to my page source and I find title, here's my metadata here, web design CT, graphic designer, on and on. And the way I added that metadata is if you have just a straight HTML site and you're using no CMS like Wix or WordPress or Weebly, you can just look up metadata, description, metadata title, copy it, put it in your head. But most of us these days are using CMSs and content management systems. My favorite is WordPress, and the way to get this, thank you, Lynn. The way to get all this stuff in is, my favorite is using Yoast. It's a plugin for WordPress, which easily allows you to change the page title for each page and the description, and to optimize for certain keywords.
Yeah, it really makes it easy to do so.
Yeah, we could do a whole other show just on Yoast.
Maybe we should. I should mark that down.
Yeah. So we got Google Search Console, we got Google Local Maps, and Yoast we could totally expand on. More metadata. When I'm setting up a page, let's just go to my last post. I created a post, and the post title is Small Business Website Design and SEO Services in Connecticut. That's what I provide, but that's the name of the post title, but I do talk about that exact thing in my article. And you see that my URL is the same as well. It's a little bit long, but it has semantic keywords in there that people can understand and Google can understand. It's better than make sure your URLs do not have just numbers and dates in them, because that isn't, that doesn't make sense to the user.
Got it. Okay.
So in this one post, I have the main image, and this image, if I look in my source code, you'll see that I have alt text to describe, to describe that image. So alt text is very important for this image, for all of your images.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that helps. Google can read it and screen readers can read it for the vision impaired. Always make sure you have alt text in your images. Make sure your image is named right, because that could help you in the Google image search. And a lot of clicks to websites are coming from image searches. So this image is not just image, 659.jpg.
Yeah.
It is small business website design.jpg.
Yeah, I'm hearing Mason's voice in my head right now, because he's always talking about making sure that images are named.
Yes.
And the other thing too that I think is really interesting is, and this is just a point of curiosity, is how many people actually, when people search and Google search, there's all, and there's images, and there's video, and there's shopping, and there's news. So there's all these different ways of searching to take into consideration.
Definitely. So if I search the name of my business and then click to images, there's nothing that displays that. Because I don't really put the name of my business, but I would put web design.
Right.
Or
and then you show up there.
Email template, and so on. What it is. It should actually describe the image.
Right. As opposed to, yeah.
So here is the post title, and that should match. If that matches the URL and your page title, your meta page title, that is very good for SEO. You want those things to be the same. You don't want the visitor or Google to be tricked into this is not really about SEO and start talking about something else. So this is a good opportunity to put keywords in. So watch your page titles, your post titles. If you just say contact us, that's a bad post title or a page title. Contact us for SEO services is a better page title.
Yeah.
And just like services, maybe you don't want your page to just be called services. Maybe you want it to be marketing services. So in your page titles throughout your site and your post titles are huge opportunities to get some keywords in there. Also, the first paragraph, the first few paragraphs should mirror the keywords you've already talked about. That gives you more Google juice. So Google likes to see that in the first paragraph. And if you really have it formatted with bullet points and a list, or it's just formatted in a way where it is a compelling top 10 list of something, Google says, let's just put this up at position 0 as a snippet. And that's a whole other ball game. Rich snippets. It's really going to people that know what they're doing and structuring their data to be found in that position 0 for a recipe or a how-to or a top 10 list. And we'll look at some of those examples if we have time.
Yeah.
Where am I? So we went through metadata URLs. We got the page title, the post title, the image alt, the image file name, headers. So this website itself does not have, it just has a post title. I should have a headline in here. Headlines are very much looked at by Google. And you could put more than a few headlines on your page with the H1 tag leading first, designating your most important headline. So if I could maybe, this is a headline right here, website design and development services in Connecticut.
I just want to take a moment too, if people who are owning business feel a little lost as to like what we're talking about right now, this is a really good resource even to ask the right questions of anybody that's either building your website or helping to maintain your website, you know, making sure that when they're talking about these things that you know what it is that they're talking about and that you're asking the right questions as far as like, you know, I understand that if I give you photos to put up on my website that, you know, you're going to want to put alt tags there. You know, what are you doing to help me rank? What are some of the more specific things? So this just makes business owners smarter as well as to, you know, what their resources are doing.
When business owners provide copy and content to me, because I'm not typically a content writer, I will definitely rewrite their headline and rewrite their first paragraph, you know, using their words, but adding keywords and optimizing it for.
What are some of the other things, like I know as you're going through this, these are things that you know, Chris Tonsky of Fusion Design think about. So what are some of the things, I guess, that you help your clients understand as far as like what you're doing for them for SEO and getting them ranked? Because it's obviously it's working, right? So it's like some of these things that you're talking about here. I'll let you answer the question.
It's a kind of tough, you know, tough job to get content from my clients. So in that case, in some cases, you know, I try to get them to partner up with people like you and Mason, so they have people generating good content. But what I would do is keep taking their content, optimizing it, and showing it back to them and saying, you know, and sometimes when they don't know, it's like, no, I didn't write that. I didn't write New Haven. And I have to explain why I did that, why it sounds like that. As long as it doesn't start reading spammy, and you're not repeating yourself over and over again, and you're not putting hidden text or anything to trick the search engine, because you can definitely get pulled down in rank.
That's important.
But yeah, I try to get them to name their images what they are, and I usually just get, you know, 200 images that are all numbered. So that you know, that's.
But in order to get results, things have to be named and that sort of thing. So we're doing good on time. We have like about another 20 minutes, and I just want to also say that if anybody has any questions or comments, you just go ahead and post them in the comment section. If you're on Facebook, there's also a comment section that's open on YouTube as well. We're on both Facebook and YouTube. So let's keep going. Everybody's saying that this is all really great stuff. So,
cool. Well, I'm mostly through the top things we do to get our site found. I said I was going to talk about these things. Snippets,
yeah.
Snippets, schema, rich data, structured data. That's when to make a pie. Right here, some answer boxes right here, coming from Wikipedia. These these cards here, these are all being pulled. These people are not paying for this. You can't pay for this, but to show up, we're calling this position 0, is really helpful to your business. And that's a whole other type of technical way that you mark up your data to be found in these little tiles, to be structured in that manner. So rich snippets is definitely a thing to work on, but it is at the, I'd say, top of the pyramid. Whereas if you go down,
right,
starting with the engaging content, the unique content, make sure it's crawlable, make sure it's keyword optimized, make sure it's a good experience for your users. Make sure your internal links are making sense, and don't put too many links in your page, but definitely link from one page to the other without using just your menu, because sometimes Google does not index your links in your menu. So make sure that you have other links that help the user get the information they're looking for. And when you do link something, make sure it's what it is that you're linking to. Web design and development. Well, if you click there, I'm talking more about web design and development, rather than underlining a word that says click here. That has no weight. Google's not going to know where you're clicking to. So make sure your link text is relevant. The more links you have on the page, the less authority is given to those links. So you want to keep that in mind when you put a bunch of links, because too many links in a paragraph, I get overwhelmed as a user, and it's just hard to read. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to click on 10 links to even read this paragraph. So just be careful of that. And we went through the metadata, the URLs. Make sure you have your images named right, your headers named right, your first paragraph, your page title, your URLs, backlinks, very important, and the rich snippets. I just want to show quickly a tool that I installed on my in my Google Chrome. It's called the Moz Bar, and it's free. Oh. So if I go back to Google and turn my Moz Bar on, and search for Web Designer New Haven, Moz is an SEO software platform that is one of the best.
Yeah.
And I learned
too. It's been around for a bit.
And if you want to learn more about SEO, go to moz.com, and there are videos that will just tell you everything you want to know. And they're very easy and engaging, and it's by the former CEO of Moz. So I strongly suggest just go to moz.com, and there'll be a whole education section there. So Moz offers some free tools, and so the Moz bar will tell you, like this site has 0 links back to it, 0 links back to it, 0 links back to it. This site has 1,203 links back to it. It's a good quick tool to just at least check your backlinks, and it has some other information that is very valuable as well. It's a nice free tool to use. I don't know what else. Covered a lot.
We did cover a lot, yeah, and you did that in like 45 minutes. So we covered a lot very, very quickly. I mean, it definitely is all important, important information, and just really helpful. And it just goes to prove that there's so many moving parts, right? Because we just covered SEO today, you know, and then there's like, what do you do on social media? What do you do as far as online advertising or any kind of advertising? We covered the SEO part of how you structure content, but then it's like also how do you write content that's engaging? So I think what we try to do is show how all of these things work together. Like, not only, you know, SEO is definitely not a standalone, even though it is extremely, extremely important, but how all these things kind of come together and move together. And we had talked about, you know, it's like, gosh, we could just do two topics, spin off two topics that we could do another whole 45-minute live stream on, one of them being Yoast, and then the other one Google Business and Google Maps as well. You know, so it seems like a lot, it seems kind of daunting, but that's why there's definitely professionals out there who either, you know, provide advice and consulting, but also do the day-to-day maintenance work. And so this kind of shows, you know, what we're doing, you know, as professionals in the background, but also like what businesses should be doing. So if anybody has any questions for Chris or myself, definitely pop them in the comment section. The other thing too is, not only is this a live stream, but this is going to be posted directly after on nhvknown.com. And then you go to the digital media sync tab, and this video will be in that tab as well. And so I'm also thinking I should link back, link to your website as well, being a good steward of the, of the information.
Bump me up to 1205.
Right, 1205, ready to go. And that's another interesting thing too, because this is a video that I'm pulling from YouTube as well. And so I think a lot of times people don't think about also filling out the information on YouTube.
Right.
So it's not like you just pop a video and then you pop it on the website. It's like you have to start tagging things there as well, and then bringing them into the site.
Yeah. Video.
Good. I may need to watch this again.
Awesome. Yeah, me too.
It's like, yeah, you will. Yeah.
Good. Okay. There's another thing that I didn't mention is the new HTTPS. It's not very new, but it's new, where Google is now penalizing you for not having an HTTPS compliant.
Yeah.
So if your exact competitor has HTTPS in their protocol, they're going to rank higher than you. You used to just have to have it for an e-commerce site if you're collecting sensitive data on the website. Now Google says everyone has to have it. Everyone has to have it. And you're starting to see, if you're going to a non-secure, that's what the S stands for, website, you'll sometimes get a warning and you won't even see the site.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll tell you, yeah, big warning that says go back.
Right.
And then for a user, from a user perspective, think of a user trying to go to your site and you don't have an HTTPS, and what they see is, you know, potentially dangerous. I mean, it like literally uses like very urgent terms and scary terms, and then all of a sudden, not only are you not, you know, ranked, but your site is considered not safe.
Right, not safe. That's really going to hurt you.
Being told to go back.
And you would, in that case, the quickest way would be to go to your domain provider, hosting provider, and buy the secure socket layer, the SSL certificate, and install it. Sometimes that can be convenient but costly. GoDaddy seems to be a little high for SSL certificates. There is a company called SSLS.net, and you can get an SSL certificate for about $4 a year for a regular site. E-commerce, it's higher, but if you just want to secure your basic website, that's a great place to go.
I'm going to put that up in the banner really quickly.
And
then, since I'm going to be posting this up, so it's SSLS.net.
Make sure that's the right.
Are you checking? I'm putting it up, and
Yeah.
I don't have, yeah, I basically just have the production software up. I don't have any other.
Yeah, no, there's being a wanker. It's a version of that. I'm pretty sure it's ssls.net.
Okay, cool. All right, so it is 9:20 right now, and Chris, I want to thank you for all of this really very helpful information. I know I've been sitting here with you the whole time, but I'm definitely going to go back and rewatch this with, and I definitely want to see the SEO. Was it small SEO tools? Yeah.
SmallSEOtools.com.
.com. I want to, see what that looks like. That was something that, because where I'm at, I don't really look at all of those things all of the time, but like I'll jump in, that's the other thing too. A lot of times we'll jump into something like that or ask for help from a professional when we're already, oh my goodness, I'm on page 6, or something's not right, or I'm not getting, what I'm looking for. And that's when we ask for help there. So just a couple of admin things. This is Digital Media Sync. We are every Tuesday, 8:30 in the morning until 9:30 in the morning. Sometimes we go over because we get really chatty, but hey, it's fun. I just want to say that next week we are going to have another special guest. I'm bringing Randy Spina on, and she is going to be talking about the marketing mindset. So we're kind of going back to what are your goals? What are some strategies? How do we get into the actual marketing mindset? So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. Again, that's next week. So that would be June, if I know my math and my dates, June 23rd. You can find that on Facebook, Known Co-working, all the information about that. The rest of this week, on Known Live, here on Facebook and also on YouTube, we have even more live events as well. So tomorrow we are actually going to be talking to Ron Coleman of New Haven Counts. So you'll want to go to the Facebook page and learn more about that. New Haven Counts is on a mission to provide mentorship, community service, and tutoring opportunities for 10,000 students over the next 10 years. So this is going to be really exciting to talk about what New Haven Counts does, and that's tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So 3 p.m. come to Facebook or to YouTube to engage with that. And then the next day, Thursday, at 2 p.m. is Pivot Talk. And there's going to be a panel talking to J.R. Logan of Make Haven and during the just right from the start of the pandemic, they went right into production mode with prototypes and then also mask making, engaging with the community to make face masks. So we're going to be talking to J.R. Logan to learn how Make Haven quickly shifted into production mode to support local PPE needs, and then pivoted again to offer their maker facilitation virtually. So I know I've been seeing a lot of virtual events being scheduled in the Facebook space, and I've actually clicked on interested and going to a few of them. So you definitely want to go over to the Make Haven Facebook page and check that out, and then also Known Co-working as well. We're going to be helping to promote some of the things that Make Haven is doing. So we're really excited about that. I just want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Chris Tonsky again for walking us through.
Thank you.
For me, it's definitely SEO is sometimes a little daunting and a maze. And you know, thanks for pulling all those points up that made things really helpful. And these are definitely things to to remember to talk about. Anybody else who wants to come on to Digital Media Sync as a guest, drop me a line at Digital Media Sync on Facebook. We have a Digital Media Sync group as well as the page. I monitor both of those, and I post information up when I can. And thank you for being an audience. And yeah, if there's any topics that you think are important, please let me know. Oftentimes, it's a kind of like a back and forth between professionals that I know that I bring on as guests, and I'm like, hey, what do you want to talk about? You know, what are some things? Or I direct to them and say, okay, you know how to do this. Can you come on and talk about this for an hour? I also crowdsource, and then I also look at the news and trends and, you know, what seems to be coming up and could be important, innovative, or informative. So that's where we are right now.
Awesome.
So it is, yeah, it's closing on 9:30. Chris, is there anything that you'd like to say about, you know, like this is your pitch time?
Well,
four minutes to talk about Chris Tonsky and Fusion Design.
Well, yeah, if you need help with your website, if you need help creating a website or optimizing an existing website, you could you contact me. You have the link in the Facebook, and that goes to my Facebook page. Just send me a message or call me or email me, fill out the form on my website. I'd be glad to talk. I'd be glad to Zoom with you and actually get into your website and go along your pages with you, which some clients really find valuable. That SSL was ssls.com, not .net.
Okay, okay, so I'll put that up really quick so people have that. And then when people, ssls.com.
Just a little thing you can do to increase your visibility. Just get that secure socket layer.
Ta-da, that's where it is right there. This is why I don't sing. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to
jingle.
break everybody's ears. Cool. All right. Oh, we have Diane. Yeah. This is where we can just chat it up. We have 2 minutes to just chat it up.
In a way that I can understand. Gotta go to another meeting.
Oh, okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. And Randy and Lance, and Rebecca, and yeah, now I feel like, what was that, romper room? No. I see Diane, and I see Randy.
Someone to help her, because I have no
My son, and I'm here without a cup of coffee, so this is what you get.
Yes, I can. I'm glad I can make my coffee now, so I'm not shaking on the table. But this was awesome. Thanks, Julia.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's good. It's good to start with a laugh, and it's good to end with a laugh, and then all that information packed in between.
Big
all right, everybody enjoy your day. We're signing off.
Okay. Peace out.